and welcome back to the panel, your official SuperCoach NBL show. My name is Kelsey Brown. I'm welcomed in by experts here, but round 7 to get us underway saw the New Zealand Breakers absolutely dismantle United, and we're going to talk about PJC and Karim Lopez, some absolute SuperCoach gods. Let's welcome in our experts, James Clement, SuperCoach wizard. James, how did you go this week?
Call me Luna Park, Kels. It is a roller coaster this SuperCoach season, isn't it? This one was a little bit on the up this week. Mostly, again, PJC, just putting all my stock in him, loving that. My Keanu Pinder move didn't quite work out, but it's fingers crossed, sort of like, again, he is just a roller coaster on himself. So it was an okay week, not a great week. This is SuperCoach.
Speaking of roller coasters, we always welcome someone new into the seat. And Matt Hickey, you join us this week. I've got to get your name right. It's SuperCoach HQ Digital Master. It's 4 words, big to get my mouth around. But Matt, welcome in. How are you going with SuperCoach so far?
Look, thanks for having me, guys. There's going to be some people at said HQ that aren't going to be happy that I've been given that title, but I'm going to claim it. SuperCoach this year, I don't hate to brag immediately coming into a new show, 128th at the moment. So I'm sitting in a nice little spot. Teams coming together, but some big decisions ahead this week.
Wow, that is incredibly high. I think I'm in the 1000th, so I'm going to leave you to tell us what we need to know this week. I want to move firstly to PJC, an incredible performance from him on the weekend. We know that he's amazing. We know that he's a god, but people are calling him the SuperCoach god this early. JC, can we stick to that?
I think you can. I mean, the biggest question out of the PJC stakes this week is, it's been awesome, Matt. Like, the ride has been great. This is the roller coaster again. The problem is he's now got 2 singles. What do we do? That's the biggest question around PJC this week. Do you jump off? Do you take the cash injection of him making out all the way up to 428, the highest priced player I think at the moment in SuperCoach? Do you jump off now, bank some of that cash and like cross your fingers that maybe, just maybe, he has like 1 quiet week, maybe you get him cheaper in a couple of weeks when they go back to a run of doubles? That's the biggest thing for PJC this week for me, Matt.
I'm a big hold this week. So his lowest score in a single game this season has been 33 SuperCoach points. That's not in a round, that's a single game. So a lot of those have come in doubles as well. I'm a massive hold. 2 games, he's going to score well for you. If you can bring in a guy like Ben Henschel with a double, you might look to start him. That's one of my big questions for the round. But PJC, how nice is it to be able to rely on somebody and not have to stress about whether they're going to perform or not?
This is it. I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. As soon as the Breakers were hitting that run of doubles, you could almost just go, right, set, forget, because if you have them already in, you've spent those trades, that's a sunk cost. Do you want to just move on from there, just leave them there? Or do you want to try and galaxy brain it, which is one of my absolute specialties of how to trip myself up and just galaxy brain everything. I'll just go, oh no, I'm going to trade him out. I should just leave him. Just leave him be. PJC is awesome. I'm probably going to hold as well.
Well, he's the man that's holding my team together at the moment, and I'm making all of my trades and my changes at supercoach.com.au. If you need any information, please go there. You can reverse trade, undo, do everything that you need to do at supercoach.com.au. I want to get to our hot list. Parker Jackson Cartwright obviously topping that, but there's another breaker on there that has absolutely blown everyone's minds. I have heard this name so many times this week. Karim Lopez. Matt, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm a little bit flat because last week I was throwing up between him and Almanza, and I bought Almanza in. And look, he scored well enough, but I didn't bring in Karim Lopez. His break-even's negative 18, so it's now or never. If you're going to do it for cash generation, you have to do it this week. Otherwise, he's going to get way too expensive going forward.
Yeah, I'm spewing. I had Sean Bairstow because I can only just afford him. That was still okay, but I'm like watching Karim Lopez go off. I'm like, why can't I have that? What is happening here? He was so good. And like, I think my biggest question going into that game, Matt, was like watching the Breakers play the last few weeks. It felt like his role was getting more and more solidified under Coach Pop, right? It's just like, here we go, Coach Pop, there we go. It was this simple idea of like, he now has like reliable kind of minutes, and he actually really stepped up last week. It was awesome to watch. So yeah, if you brought him in, well played.
Unbelievable from Karim Lopez. Another man on the hot list that you're not so fond of and you don't want to ride with is Nathan Sobey, JC.
He's breaking, so Sobe Zero, I love him. He's awesome. I don't want to cross him either. He's got too many scary tattoos for my liking. Mine just don't keep up. But look, he was incredible last week. 75 across the games for South East Melbourne. But he has like the new coach's sort of like ear. But this was without Derek Walton Jr., Matt. And I think if he comes back this week, can you trust Sobes? I'm probably erring on the not side.
Yeah, I'm very hesitant as well. His break even's still 36. I also if you're talking about you don't have enough tattoos, I have 0 tattoos, so I'm going to be very careful with what I say as well. But I'm a little bit hesitant towards Nathan Sobey at the moment, so it's a watch at the moment for me.
I want to move to the not list. Kelly Leopepe, he's been one that we've spoken about a lot, but he had a DMP on Thursday. Do you hold on to him? They're coming into a string of singles. JC, I feel like it's pretty easy to go off Kelly.
I'm going to be like Max Verstappen right now and take a victory lap, because that was the one move I've nailed this year. I brought him in the exact right time and I got off him at the exact right time. I love Kelly Leopepe. There's another dude I do not want to cross. He's just absolutely jacked. But at 163, Sydney's schedule just goes completely out the door right now. It's like a run of singles, run of singles, run of singles. And with Kelly having this downswing, you can easily move off him.
Matt, we've got that not list as well. Rocco's on there again. Isaac Humphries, Sunday Detch, Kyron Galloway. Is there any of those names that are jumping out to you in the not list?
None that I would go near personally to trade into. There's obviously some injury, like Isaac Humphries coming back from that calf tightness. Who knows what the big man rotation is going to be with Adelaide now that Jarrell Martin's in the picture. We know what Trez can do. Their schedule's pretty skinny as well. So it's nice that I also want to say thank you to Kelly Leopepe. Like, let's just all take a second as super coaches just to thank him for the incredible work he's done from a 60k starter. Like, shout out Kelly. Thank you for that, mate.
Kelly has been incredible and he's been on my list for a while, so I think I will move off him this week. But I want to get to the shout out twos. We've got the Rebels for Paul on 526. He won this week. PJC as captain. There's no doubts about that. Prawn Shelvers for Grant on 522. He has Lopez as a starter. Unbelievable. Jungle Cooks from Nicholas, 522. This one's the one that stands out for me. 3 bench players at 50 plus. Unbelievable effort there. Calvinator for Mick on 517. White as captain. And Super Cooper for Matthew on 517. PJC as captain as well. There's a lot of moving parts there, but I feel like the mainstays are the breakers in there. The big question will be, breakers are coming into a single. Do you keep those breakers on your list?
I think it's almost case by case, isn't it, Matt? Like, I think you can probably keep PJC because you know that his floor is quite high. Whereas someone like Sam Menenga, he has this incredibly low break even. So you're like, oh, he might still make me some cash, but he also might just get 6.
Yeah, send him to the moon. Send him to the moon. Send him on his way. Trade him out.
Mooney is another one as well, right? Like, he's in the most traded out list, and like Mooney is another one. Like, can you trust him week in, week out? He's been really good, but this might be the week to move off him.
Yeah, so we move to most traded in. We've got Christian Doolittle on this list. He's with Perth at the moment. 18.4% of super coaches have traded in him. He's sitting at 335,100. You've got Nathan Sobey on the most traded in list, Elijah Pepper, Karim Lopez, and Matt Hurt. Matt, I want to talk to you about Elijah Pepper. You've ridden him from the absolute start. You're the #1 ticket holder to the Pepper fan club. Talk to me about your insight into him and why you want to stick with him.
I feel like a proud father of Elijah Pepper. He's a stud. He's a star. Cotton, we think, is going to be at maybe another couple of weeks before he gets back on the floor. How many minutes he gets when he comes straight back in as well. So Elijah Pepper, I mean, this is a guy in his last 2 years in college with UC Davis. He averaged over 20 points per game. So you're getting a flat-out scorer. I wish I had the confidence in anything in life that he has in his talents on the basketball court, and it's justified. So shout out Elijah Pepper, and if you're going to bring him in, you've got to do it soon.
Yeah, I think the thing with Pepper and Henschel is, like, now with Cotton out, they are sort of doing this like weird split of like, all right, you be good today. You be good. And like for super coaches, it's just like wildly frustrating. So if you've got Pepper, you're laughing. If you've got Henschel, he was super solid last week as well. Like, you're trying to split this difference is pretty weird. But for me, like, the most traded in, like Lopez sitting at 214, like, it's so tempting, Matt, just to bring him in, get that cash, because he's going to jump up heaps next week. He'll probably make you 40k if he does half decently. I don't know. It's the toughest part of like super coaching. Like, do you ride a single for 1 week? Do you make that cash? Do you then jump off again? Or do you just keep hoping that he shoots all the way to the moon and absolutely crushes it? But he's 17. It's really hard to, like, I wouldn't trust, like, me at 17 versus what Karim Lopez can do at 17. I wouldn't trust me with like a sandwich in a bag when I was 17, and he's out there crushing it. So I don't know, like, Lopez is fantastic. The other one at the top of the list is Christian Doolittle. So Pinder came in last week. Doolittle has dropped dramatically in price this week. So he's actually pretty solidly priced at 335k. My question is, I've already got Pinder, Matt. Like, Doolittle, I'm not going to be jumping off the Pinder train right now because he's already in there. I don't want to burn a trade at this point. Do you like the Doolittle experience? What do you think from here on out?
I'm in a very similar spot to you. I'm very nervous about Christian Doolittle. I also have Keanu Pinder. I don't have Christian Doolittle, and he's that one that is going to be maybe the make or break in dropping some positions. You can't trade out guys on a double, especially with the run of doubles that they've got coming up. If you have the space to bring in Christian Doolittle, He's a more consistent scorer than Pinder is, but we know Pinder's ceiling is so high. When he goes big, he goes really big.
You spoke about the singles, JC, and I want to talk about that. You've got Brisbane, who've got another, or I think they've got a double this weekend, and then they move into doubles. Is that right?
I think it's next week. They've got the double, their first one, right?
Next week. So single this week, and then move into a string of doubles. I think you said 9 out of 10 of the next weeks they've got doubles. Are you moving on a Brisbane Bullet player at the moment, or are you holding out for another week?
I'm probably holding out for another week. I think I differ from you here, Matt. Like I've got Prather on my bench, and I've been riding that and trying to make a little bit of money here and there, and he's done pretty well until the last 2 weeks where it's sort of just plateaued. So, and I was hoping that I'd get to his run of doubles and then I could really make a bit of cash, but he just hasn't looked that good the last couple of weeks. So I might actually move off from him this week and just sort of go right and maybe try to move on to someone like Josh Bannon and stuff like that, maybe next week. What about you, man?
I'm bringing in Tyrell Harrison. So I'm sending Menenga out. I'm bringing in Tyrell Harrison. I've got Matt Hurt starting in that centre spot, so I bring in Harrison, making sure, I mean, his break even is gettable. He's not going to lose too much. He's not going to make too much. We know he's a great scorer. He had 20 rebounds on the weekend, like just ludicrous. I'm happy to bring him in and preparation, and that way next week I don't have to stress about bringing more bullets in.
Well, we've got teams coming up to doubles this weekend. It's Melbourne, Perth, Tassie and Southeast Melbourne. We always talk about having those players on your list. JC, I want to hear what your team's doing this week. Who are you including? Who are you getting rid of?
That's the problem. Like, I think I've been in two minds all week so far. Well, literally only been 2 days, considering I only just finished on Monday night. But even as that was happening, I'm looking at mine and I'm just beset by the problem of having Chris Goulding. Like, I brought him in as just a bit of a points play a few weeks ago. He's completely flatlined. And I'm just sort of sitting here going, what do I do with Chris Goulding? So I feel like I don't want to trade him out because they're on a double. He could go massive again, who knows? So PJC, the downgrade is in play, but I feel like I might just hold him. I don't want a sideways trade from Pinder, from Goulding. I've got Matt Hurt. My thing might be just moving on from Rocco off my bench and maybe Casey Prather. So actually moving on from 2 bullets the week before they come onto a double, which is just stupid. So my entire thing might just come down to me going, right, Menenga, on your bike, pal, even though his break-even's really low. So you can see that I'm in a really tough spot. It's very frustrating. Like, a lot of the people at the moment, like, the most traded out this week is Xavier Cooks. Like, that's the easiest thing in the world to move off from Cooks because you've got Sydney on all these singles. And me, I'm looking at this going, I've just backed myself into an awesome corner. And it hasn't helped my ranking or anything. So what I probably will do is move on from Menenga. I've got Bairstow. They made a little bit of cash. I'll probably just reconfigure my forward line and go from there.
Mal, what's your team looking like this week? Any moves? Any big moves that I need to copy?
Well, I'm just as soon as the lockout ends on a SuperCoach round, I want to make my trades straight away. So Sunday night, I'm normally straight in. This week, with the Monday night basketball, it was a stressful 24 hours on Monday for me because I couldn't make my SuperCoach trades. But Xavier Cooks is going out, and so Sam Menenga. It's farewell for now. They might come back into my team eventually down the stretch, but they're going out, moving Pinder into that starting forward spot, and I'm bringing in Kareem Lopez for the cash generation. I think it's too tempting to miss out on. And as mentioned earlier, Tyrell Harrison from the Bullets.
Yeah, I think some of the other cash cows as well, Matt. Like, Lopez is obviously the big one, like the break-even to -18. But you got Alex Higgins-Titcher as well, who's on a break-even to -20. The Taipans are a tricky team. Like, we know this. With their sort of moving parts with injuries, with Taron Armstrong and stuff like that, like, he's going to be a really big sort of question mark, I think, heading into this week. And coaches will be like, yes, break even to -20, let's go. He's priced at 112K. Like, that's awesome. Just a bit of wariness, though, I think, just because that job security is a really big question for him. And, of course, Will Hickey is just still sitting there with the break-even -4, and I've never been angrier in my life.
Well, there you go. You've heard it all there first. The panel, your official SuperCoach NBL show, NBL app, if you want to watch all the live scores. I sit there refreshing every single weekend. You can go to supercoach.com.au. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, and giving your insight. Thank you to you at home, and all the best for round 8 of your SuperCoach endeavours.